Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Spirit Rebels, our podcast helping us all to choose to find magic over the mundane every single day. How cheesy did that sound?
No, it's perfect. And it's true. It's true.
How are you doing, my darling? Are you all right?
I'm good. Oh, it's hot. It is so warm at the minute. And I think I'm perimenopausal. So I'm constantly trying to fan myself or using
Oh,
books, anything I can grab to just fan myself, keep myself cool. I'm up and down like a blooming yo-yo, I am at the moment.
oh dear, those hormones, those hormones. I don't know. Sometimes I think I am, then other times I think no, I'm not. But I've been using the yam cream, and that has been fabulous. Just a little endorsement there for Napier's wild yam cream. They might send me some free. You never know.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And that has been definitely taking the edge off things. It's a tricky one though, isn't it? Especially in
Mm,
this heat. It's so where we are. It's hot but there's grey clouds overhead, so it's threatening rain and any minute, and it's just so sticky. Now I can
mm,
cope with heat and I can cope with rain. I don't like both together. It's annoying. It's frizzy hair weather, and it's not
yeah.
great. It's just not great. I end up looking like some sort of bush all the time, like I've got a bush on my
Mm.
head, because I have wild curls. So yeah, just not appreciating the humidity
Oh,
right now.
we've had it hot down here because obviously I'm down south. So
You're more or less in
normal.
a different country as far as I'm
It's
concerned.
more or less normally a little bit hotter, isn't it? So
Yeah.
we had it really hot Friday, which I think the whole country did. And then Saturday it rained, and it was my sister's wedding on Saturday, and it rained
Oh.
all day. And now we've gone back to heat again. So, but it didn't ruin the day. It was amazing. But it is funny what the weather does because the fact it's been so hot, then just one day of rain, just one day, and now it's back to being hot again. I just don't get it.
Can't make its mind up, can it? It's like, should I not? Should I
Mm.
not?
It must be a woman and hormones, the weather. It must
Yeah.
be.
Maybe Zit needs some wild yam cream.
Yeah, I'm going to look into this yam cream because I don't know if I am either. I'm just going through the symptoms, as in what I think the symptoms are. I guess, can you go to the doctors and get a blood
Yeah,
test? Can
of
they
course
do
you
a sim?
can.
Oh, I need to
Of
probably
course you
book
can.
that in,
The problem
just
being
to
is the
know.
fact, well, this my not that I'm anti-doctors or anything, but the problem being is the fact that a lot of the tests that the doctors use aren't like how because one woman's level of hormone is different from another woman's normal
Mm,
level of hormone. So how it's hard to I'm sure they can measure it though. I'm sure
mm.
they can. Go at
Oh,
least go and talk to them. They might be able to come up with some other solutions for you.
yeah.
You don't know.
That's true. So sorry, listeners, because this has nothing to do with today's episode, but I expect some of you will be listening to this going, I understand that feeling. I'm doing that right now, fanning myself.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to put my teeth in. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to Reiki myself through the menopause.
Oh, well, you
Yeah.
would be able to because you're phenomenal. And although I'm trained, I don't know. I think I've always had a bit of imposter syndrome with my Reiki.
Oh,
Whereas I know
hey.
because I haven't done it for years on other people. I just do it for Lily and I. So I feel like, well, it's not the same if you're not doing it for other people. But I know it
Right.
is.
Just let's just rewind a little bit here because you know what? The majority of people I teach, I would say what 95% of them just do it for their own self-healing, their own spiritual connection, their own progression and development and self-awareness. Only about 5% actually go on to either practice like officially on other people or teach. The Reiki,
Mm.
first and foremost, is for yourself. It absolutely is for yourself. And I honestly think that if everybody on this planet had at least their Reiki level 1, this world would be a very different place to live in.
Oh,
It
I
really
agree.
would.
I
Really would.
agree.
And you can't do it wrong. Just whack your hands on yourself and say Reiki flow. It'll still be there. It'll
Oh, I know I
totally
do, and I remember all my symbols and everything. I do
yeah,
it, and
yeah.
Lily always says, particularly when she's poorly, "Oh, Mum, just put your healing hands on me," and I love
Touch your
that.
hands.
And
Just as a little plug, because I'm a bit naughty like this, I will be actually launching a new program in September called Return to Reiki, and it's for people who have done their Reiki, maybe it's level 1, level 2 master, whatever, any lineage, any teacher, but they haven't used it or they, can't quite find the time or whatever. It's a new program. It is 6 weeks of daily mini, like 10-minute Reiki plugins.
Oh my God, I think I need to sign up to that.
You get like 40 odd, like 10-minute meditations for self-healing, for manifestation with Reiki, for talking to the angels with Reiki, all sorts of different stuff. Yeah,
Wow. Well, you've
I'm
heard it here
excited.
first, listeners. She's launching it, and I will probably be doing it. So,
Return to Reiki.
yeah. Oh dear, love it.
Although,
So we're talking.
oh, sorry, I was just going to say, whenever I talk about it, I've got anything on my screen with Return to Reiki on. Paul, who that we share the office, he always turns around and starts singing Return of the Mac to me.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
it's
start.
brilliant.
Let's start today's show, shall we? Should we actually
Yes.
talk about what we're here to talk about today?
We're talking about something we touched on last week, actually. We're going to be talking about vibrations and gratitude, aren't we, today? Two really key things in all of our lives, I think.
And I think the whole vibration thing is so, and this has happened, and in some ways it's a good thing, and in some ways it's not, because so an idea that is, gosh, thousands and thousands of years old, that they knew about before, science and scientists and everything came into being, and it's been taken, and it's got the whole idea of vibes is quite commercial now, and I love that, because obviously more people are aware of it. It's out there. There's t-shirts and mugs and tote bags with good vibes on and positive vibes and all that. So it's good, and it's good that people are aware of their vibrational levels a little bit more, but I don't know if people actually know what it means, or particularly how it works. So I'd kind of like to head that off a little bit. And also today I'd like to mention about, how we are all responsible for our own vibration, yet we seem to blame other people when our vibration, or when we struggle to keep our vibration high. So it's going to be quite an interesting one to talk about. And one of the things that I am most well known for is my tough love. And well, listeners may get a little bit of tough love today.
It's true. I've had sessions where she is tough love with me, and she'll always warn you first. She'll go, right, it's tough love time. And then you're like, oh, okay, brace yourself. It's a bit like when you've been told off by the headmistress. It's one of those sessions.
Just put yourself on the naughty step now before we even start.
Yes.
I'll be
Yes.
nice. I'll be kind about it. So we are just vibration. Like it's the science stuff. If you want to go into quantum physics and that, it is absolutely fascinating how it all works. And I'm no scientist, and I'm don't even going to pretend to be a scientist or pretend that I understand the workings of it, because I'm very much a girl who goes, oh, that feels right, so I'll believe it. But there is science behind all of this that can prove the stuff that I'm talking about, or some of it anyway. So if you break everything down into its teeny tiniest little form, as in you can't see it with the naked eye, under a microscope, like big shiny microscope kind of thing, there's nothing there. Or what is there is just pure energy. So our bodies, our desks, our microphones, our glasses, our mugs, it's just energy. It is absolute pure energy that has come together to create a physical form and to do a job. So we are just energy. And the bit that we can see of ourselves, as in our boobs and our noses and our elbows and all that, is just a teeny tiny part of actually who we are. We extend out so much further than what we can physically see, but a lot of us just seem to take care of the physical stuff, or not even that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not at the minute.
To be honest, I think I'm guilty of taking care of the energy side of things way more than the body side of things, but they all filter in anyway. So this energy that we are, we've got the physical bit that is in the dimension, I guess. I'm not going to go too weird, don't worry. The physical bit that's in the dimension that we are in right now. But there's all this extra stuff. So when we talk about what level of vibration we're at, or what frequency of vibration we're at, what we are talking about is the energy that is radiating out from us, and it goes outwards. When we have high vibrations, it is because we are feeling good. Okay. Now, I always talk about this, another one of my amazing analogies. I always talk about this like music, because it just makes sense to me. So a high vibration will be a beautiful song that'll be like angels singing. Not that my voice sounds like angels singing, but that's high vibration. And we can make that music when we are feeling happy and joyful and grateful and excited and hopeful and all the good stuff. When we are feeling low, when we have anxiety or depression, when we feel angry or fearful or insecure, our vibrations are low. Therefore, our song isn't this beautiful angelic singing anymore. It is like, it's a really low grumble. It's as low as my voice go, like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. So this vibration, and I know next episode we're going to talk more about manifestation and things, but I know a lot of people are quite interested. But our vibration actually dictates to us what we attract. It is one of the universal laws as to how everything works, and we can only attract to ourselves what, you know, something of the level of frequency that we are vibrating out. So if our vibration is low, we can't get good stuff in. If our vibration is high, we can manifest good stuff. We can attract, or we do automatically attract good stuff into our lives. And we can have different vibrations about different things. So I might think about my relationship, my lovely Paul, and my vibrations will go right up in the air because he's lovely. And he'll be listening to this. I know he does because he's very supportive. And when I think about Paul, and my vibrations go big and strong, and it's all love and gratitude and all the nice things. But then I could think about, I don't know, I've got some health stuff, so I could think about my health stuff, and automatically, because I'm thinking about something that doesn't make me feel as happy, my vibration around that will be low, so my vibration will drop. So it's not just that we keep the same vibration all day, every day. It goes up and down and up and down. You might leave the house feeling on top of the world and, you know, oh, yay, good stuff's happening today. Get in the car, someone cuts you up and you're like, oh, you bastard, blah, 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 blah. Whoosh, vibrations right down there because you've reacted and therefore your vibrations have responded to it. And then you
So the
might get
challenge is keeping them high, isn't it, in times of
absolutely.
adversity?
Absolutely. And I think I mentioned last week about the fact that you know, it's not always easy to do. And it's okay to acknowledge when your vibrations aren't high. Life, we weren't meant to just be in a constant state of all the time because life would be very boring. But I guess the trick is to go through the more negative experiences and choose our response, to react less, I guess, and think about actually what we are doing rather than just and let your vibrations drop or go into that automatic self-critical mode or fear-filled mode, the way your vibrations come right down. And if they do, it's about being self-aware and acknowledging it and going, oh, okay, I'm thinking these thoughts, therefore my vibration is now low. And people would say to me, well, I can't control my emotions. You know, if something happens, I'll respond. And I get that. We can't control our emotions, but our thoughts are what is in charge of how we feel. So we can actually control our thoughts. And again, people would argue with me and say, no, if, you know, something happens, I will just think a thought. But no, we don't. We get to choose what we think. Nobody else gets to put thoughts in our head. They can say something, and because we are we are creatures of habit, we may have habits of thinking and going through the same thought processes when we hit certain situations and circumstances. But at any point in time, we can stop ourselves and go, nope, I don't want to think like that. For example, you can wake up and be thinking, oh, I've got a lovely day ahead. I'm meeting my friend and I'm doing this, and I'm going out tonight, or, you know, whatever it might be. Then you get up and you go in the bathroom and you look in the mirror. And if you are someone like me who is quite self-critical in terms of their physical appearance, your automatic thought process might be, oh my God, I look tired. Oh God, I look old. Oh God, I look, you know, too fat, ugly, you know, ugh, you know, all those kind of thoughts. And if you are someone who has maybe practiced thinking those thoughts for a long time, those thoughts then turn into a belief. And every time you look in the mirror, before you even get a chance to think, oh, how do I look today? The automatic thoughts kick in. You start to self-criticize, and whoosh, your vibrations just drop. No matter how high they were to start off with, when you were thinking about how excited you were for your day, whoosh, all of a sudden they're low, and you don't maybe feel like going out anymore. Or the idea of meeting your friends a bit like, oh. And when we're in a low vibrational place, it's easy then to start thinking about all the other stuff that we feel low vibrational about. Oh, well, actually, I haven't really got enough money. I shouldn't be doing this. And oh, well, I haven't done this. And oh, oh God, I've got work on Monday. And oh, that person's doing this. And then we'll sit and doom scroll for a bit on social media about all, either the people who are doing brilliant things that'll trigger us into feeling not good enough, or we'll see things that just, oh God, that bad thing's happened and that bad thing's happened and bush. We start to build this momentum of negative vibration that is harder to get out of than if we can just get out ahead of it, to acknowledge those thoughts of, oh, right, my thoughts are slipping, therefore my emotions are going to slip, therefore my vibrations will slip. Stop this before it even starts. So we'll go back to that example in the bathroom mirror where you look and you start the self-criticism process. It's about going, right, enough, no. And if you can say something nice about yourself, do it. If you can't, you go, I'm not doing this right now. Turn around, walk out, and go and do something that makes you feel happy. Walk the dog, talk to a tree, paint your toenails, put some music on in the kitchen, play with kids, whatever, whatever it might be, something to distract yourself away from those negative thought patterns that just go and go and go and go and go. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. It does make perfect sense. I often think that when I've got a lot of beautiful friends, beautiful inside and out. And obviously, like I've been saying to you, I've put on weight of late. I have, over the last 2 years, I've had some difficulties since a relationship ended, coming to terms with that, and age anyway, and the perimenopause, and just the fact that I've got a bit lazier because I've been stressed. So when I'm with my beautiful, beautiful friends who are gorgeous inside and out, quite often that person will start speaking to me about saying, oh, but you're not attractive enough, you're not this, you're not that. But it's silly, really, because in terms of my friends, they don't see or care about that anyway. And also, I think I always compare it back to, but what if, I think probably because I'm single at the moment, oh, but what if I'm not enough for somebody else? I'm not enough. And actually, yeah, I might not be for some people, but I will be for somebody else. So those thoughts definitely creep into my mind a lot. And what I haven't been doing, and I think I'm going to acknowledge it, because I don't know if you've noticed on this podcast, guys, Shelley will tell us to do things or suggest things. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't do that. I could do that. So I think I've got to do the whole stop thing in the mirror. The stop. Don't even let that thought engage right now. Because if you do, you're right, I'm then walking out the door with all of these negative little voices talking to me already before I even get out and I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think that's the crucial bit, the stop bit, actually, for me.
It gains momentum so fast. So, and I can't remember if I tell this story a lot. It's another Abraham Hicks thing that I love, but and I don't know if I've already spoken about it on a different episode, but if you can imagine standing on a hill with a big boulder, okay? And if you give the big boulder a little shove, which is, I guess, the initial negative thought, be it about the way you look, be it about money, be it about not being good enough at your job, be it about, not ever being able to make a change, whatever that negative thought's about. That instant, the initial negative thought is the boulder just starting to move. Now, it's so much easier. It's still hard, but it's easier to go, oh, and get out in front of the boulder, hold it in place, and stop it from rolling any further forward. If you let that boulder, or you could be a snowball if you want to be, wintry, boulders seem quite big. But if you let that boulder get a little bit of momentum and get going, the further down the hill, the faster it gets and the harder it is to stop. If you've let that boulder get away from you and it makes its way halfway down the hill, if you try and get out in front of it to stop it, it's going to, steamroller over you and blow you down. And negative thoughts are exactly the same. The more momentum you allow negative thinking to have, the harder it is to actually stop it. And whether it is being able to physically turn it around and do some affirmations to, switch up your situation. So if it's about the physical appearance, doing some affirmations about, I am ready to embrace my own beauty. I am a gorgeous, sexy woman, whatever it might be. If you can get to the point where you can say those things, that's brilliant. But often as not, before we can start to reprogram those thoughts and to break that cycle, we've got to just distract ourselves and say, you know what, stop, just stop. And one of my favorite phrases, and this actually came from a customer I was working with a little while ago, just say the phrase to yourself, I don't have to think this way anymore.
Oh, I love it.
It is so simple, just I don't
Yeah.
have to think this way anymore. And you'll have a million different voices kicking off in your head going, oh, oh, hang on. Normally she listens to us criticizing her. Oh, what's she doing? Oh, stop it. We'll shout louder. But you have got a wonky nose. You are looking awful today. But you just gotta go, no, no, I don't have to think this way. I don't have to think this like this anymore. You can rewind, 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 rewind. I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm not going to think this way. And whether it's about physical appearance, whether it's about your finances, whether it's about a work situation, whether it's about a relationship situation, it's all exactly the same. And if we allow it to get momentum, you cannot get away from it. It then literally overtakes you. And as someone who's struggled with anxiety literally all my life, and for me, the anxiety comes when the boulder's got too far down that hill, because it's all consuming, and then it kind of takes over your brain, and then anything that you were feeling good about, this negative kind of way of thinking about things overflows onto everything else. And then you start to become a bit numb to all the good stuff. So this gets to a point where you've built up that much, I guess, resistance in your energy. Your energy's become that much of a low vibration. You can't, well, you can, but it just takes a lot more effort, lift those vibrations and get back into singing that lovely song. And I guess, again, being creatures of habit, we get so used to the vibration we're living in that we forget how good it feels to be in those lovely high vibrational realms, because that's where we do feel good. And it isn't easy. It really, really isn't easy, but it starts with that choice. And okay, tough love warning, here we go. No bugger else can do this for us. We have to do it ourselves. We're the only people that can say, no, stop. I don't have to think this way anymore. And yeah, there might be that little voice that comes up going, oh, but you should. Who do you think you are to ignore your size of your bum? Who do you think you are to ignore how rubbish you are? You should be acknowledging it. You should be listening to me, because I'm going to keep you safe. And we're going to go, no, little voice, you aren't keeping me safe. You're making me sad. And I don't want to be sad today. At the end of the day, whether I believe my bum is too big or not, it's there. It's not going to make a difference. No one's getting hurt by it. So I'm just going to carry on with my big bum and go wherever I need to go today. It's these thoughts that the build in momentum, and then they just get so fast. It's like, Speed, the film with Sandra Bullock and Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves. Yeah, you're literally on that bus and you can't, apply the brake, otherwise you're going to blow up. So if we can just get out ahead of those thoughts before they take control of us, it's so much easier. And if you
Have
think
you
about,
named your thoughts? Have you got names for that voice?
I think it's just fear, Shelley, just fear, Shelley, scared, Shelley, because fear, I honestly believe, and this is not just me, this is like a famous thing, that everything we do, everything we say, every single thing that happens comes from a place of either love or fear. And it's easy to see the things that we do that come from a place of love, but the things that we do that come from a place of fear often disguise themselves. So they'll disguise themselves as trying to keep you safe, or they'll disguise themselves as insecurity. We might even do things that we think are coming from a place of love, but actually we're doing them because we're wanting to please other people. Therefore, that's coming from a place of fear as well. Or we're doing it so that other people will think better of us. And again, that is coming from a place of fear, because we are at risk of being judged as not being good enough, or not being, doing the right thing. So it's just my fear voice. It is just I think that's the way that I've never actually questioned that. But when I think about it, it's my fear voice. And to name it as well as your fear voice, it's like, well, I don't want to be fearful. So if my fear voice is speaking to me, well, is that a good person to listen to right now? No, I don't. No, go away, fear voice. You're just scared. And I think, again, you know, talking to people who kind of acknowledge this little voice inside, um, that comes up with all this negative stuff, a lot of people might attack it, you know, try and bat it off with, you know, fuck off, leave me alone, I hate you, kind of thing. But hate never wins over hate. And if that little voice is bringing you hate and hate-filled, you know, horrible feelings and thoughts, you can only win with love. Because at the end of the day, that voice is coming from a part of you that is frightened. So, you know, if you think of that little voice as being a 6-year-old you, would you turn around to a 6-year-old child and go, fuck off, I hate you? Let,
Absolutely not.
let's hope not. Whereas whereas if you turned around and went, right, I hear what you're saying. I totally get where you're coming from, but we're not going to have this conversation today. You know, I love you. I am sorry you feel this way, but I don't want to feel this way. So that's not going to happen right now. Give it a cuddle, you know, come back that visual thing, see it as a little, as a version, a scared version of you, and go give it a cuddle, you
Mm.
know, let it feel loved and wanted. Because if that voice feels loved and wanted enough, it will stop being afraid, and therefore it will stop talking to you.
It's about taking control back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that fear version of ourselves, it doesn't want us to be high vibrational, because when we are high vibrational, change happens. You know, we get opportunities that put us out of our
Mm.
comfort zone. We are, the light shines on us a bit more. We are more shiny, and then people start to ask questions, and again we put ourselves in a position of vulnerability, because it's like, oh, you know, oh, what's she doing? Why is she so bloody happy? What are you going to be so happy about? I hate that phrase. I hate it.
Yeah.
What do you mean what am I going to be so happy about? I'm alive. Bumblebees exist. Leave me alone. Back to the bees again, aren't I? Do love bees. Do you know, I've got a little collection of bee things in my kitchen. I've got a bumblebee teapot and a butter dish and a sugar dish and tea and coffee and sugar holder things. I love, and a bee clock. Tristan got me a bee clock for my birthday this year. I love bees.
Oh. I also love how visual you are, and you're able to turn everything back to a visual, and that's great. I don't think it works for everybody. I'm
No.
definitely not as visual as you, but which is why I asked about if you named that voice,
Yeah.
that fear voice, because I think for me, I need to call that sort of imposter person out. Maybe I'll name mine. I don't know what yet. But for me, I think that will work better. So I suppose what we're saying is everybody's got different ways. So you
Yeah.
might visualize that, you might name, but I think you're right. We need to keep our vibrations high, and we need to sort of knock that voice on the head, or at least take control of it,
Yeah.
because everywhere has a place, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one of the things that, one of the problems, or the traps that we fall into, is that we, as a human race, we don't take responsibility for our own vibration, i.e., how we are feeling. And it's very easy just to blame everybody else. We can blame the government and the price of shopping, and we can blame our exes, and we can blame our annoying colleague, or that person who whinges and moans all the time. But ultimately, nobody else has anything to do with your vibration. You are the only one, I said, we are the only ones who can actually have an impact as to whether our vibrations go up or down.
Yeah, I love that. That is so true, actually. So true. Which I think leads quite well into gratitude, which is what else we want to talk about. And it's something I am hugely passionate about. I only really brought gratitude into my life, I would say, properly, maybe coming up 2 years. I think when I got out of my very difficult and challenging relationship, I started to bring it into my life. And people say, oh, you know, what you on about? But actually, having gratitude for things, even the smallest things, has actually transformed my life and made me such a happier person. Um, just seeing the good in things. I was listening to a motivational speaker the other week, and he was talking about when you get stuck in a traffic jam, and a lot of people will start to get angry, particularly if you're late for work and things like that. You start to get angry and frustrated. But he said, why don't you just sit there and think, oh, well, at least I'm in a comfortable car. You know, we're not in uncomfortable cars anymore. If it's a hot day, we've got aircon and things like that we didn't used to have. We're healthy, we're alive, we're not in a car accident. We are just sitting there waiting for, you know, the traffic to go. Oh, we've got snacks in the car with us, you know, we've got drink. And suddenly, and it sort of goes back to last week's episode as well, suddenly, you know, writing that list of the good things, the positive things, suddenly we're changing then the way we're thinking and feeling about that situation, which I think sits nicely with what you've just talked about with the vibrations and sort of ignoring or putting a stop to that more negative voice in what's the word I want? I've forgotten the word. This is what happens with the perimenopause. You see the sign, ladies, you forget things. You know, the voice, the positive voice coming in, you know,
Yeah.
that's saying something different. So what's your take on gratitude then, Shelley?
I love gratitude. Again, something else. Gratitude has become something that is again quite commercial now, which is a good thing. You can get gratitude journals and, you know, t-shirts with grateful on and stuff, and it's good. But, and there's always a but with me. Well, I wonder whether or not when we, you know, we do a gratitude practice, if we are actually allowing ourselves to feel it. Because if we, you know, write a list, and I did this for years, I wrote a list every night of like 5 things I was grateful for that day. And it turned into a chore, and it turned into something I just had to do before I went to bed. And I'm really bad with consistency. I have to switch my practices up all the time because, you know, if I do something longer than 4 days, I'm bored of it. And it doesn't work anymore, because the thing with gratitude is it's all well and good acknowledging what it is you're grateful for, but we have to feel those feelings in order for it to be effective. I mean, the different reasons why we would do gratitude. If you are struggling in terms of mental or emotional health, a gratitude list, literally just listing off things that, you know, have been good bits of the day, things that you're grateful for, is helpful to remind you that actually there is stuff going on. There's that phrase, you know, every day may not be a good day, but there is good in every day. Helping you remember that actually, yeah, this is something to be grateful for. This is something that, you know, isn't awful in my life. But if you're looking at gratitude from a manifestation point of view, which, let's be honest, we all want a bit more of the stuff that we want. It is the feelings that will switch things up and switch up your vibration, because gratitude is the highest vibration that you can possibly get to. It's higher than love, it's higher than excitement and joy. Gratitude's like literally what you're aiming for all the time. I mean, you know, imagine me floating through life just in a constant state of gratitude. Oh, everything's wonderful. I mean, do sometimes, but not all day, every day. Not when I'm tired, that doesn't work. But yeah, so if we can get into that gratitude sort of mindset, it's important that we allow ourselves to feel it. Because if you're just sitting writing a list of things you're grateful for every day, well, it doesn't mean anything, because the universe doesn't read our lists. It doesn't even hear our words half the time. It just wants it hears our vibration, that song that we're singing out. That's what the universe responds to. So if you are doing gratitude, in order to manifest, it's important that you give yourself time to feel it. And I think sometimes people go, oh, the more I write on my list, the more grateful I will show the universe I am. When actually it's more effective to just pick 3 things you're grateful for and have 2 minutes on each thing where you put yourself back in that situation. So say, for example, you're grateful for laughing with your lovely friend at lunchtime. Okay. So that night, when you're doing your gratitude list, write laughing with my lovely friend, and then shut your eyes and be back in that situation again. Let yourself think about the things your friend was saying and how did it feel physically, and how did it feel? Oh, well, I felt relief and I felt enjoyment. And just let yourself be in it. Because, and again, I think I've said this before, our brains can't tell the difference between if we are actually experiencing something or we are just thinking about it. So if you think about when you had lunch with your friend and you were both laughing and it was lovely, your brain thinks you're back there living that experience all over again. And when your brain does that and the thoughts are there, the chemical response is also the same. So you start to release the same happy chemicals that you did at lunchtime while you were laughing. This then affects how your body responds. This then affects how you emotionally feel. And that in turn affects where your vibrations are. So just by thinking about a happy experience in the past, you can send your vibrations up, you can send your vibrations higher. And when it comes to manifesting, that's where we need our vibrations to be in alignment with the good stuff that we are wanting to bring in, with the good stuff that we are asking for. So it's more effective to pick 3 things and focus on them and feel them, rather than have a list of 25 things that you've just written down. It may as well be a shopping list, you know. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds good. And I think you're right. And I think that's where I've probably gone wrong in the past. I'm trying to focus on too many things. So again, every week, are we not getting Shelley's top tips? This is brilliant. I'm sorry that I keep coughing slightly, guys. I've had a chest thing. But yeah, I think that's what I need to do personally, is focus on less. And I've always been a stickler for a list. And for exactly the same reasons you said, it became a chore. And I don't know, for any of you that have done The Secret, you have to do 10 things you're grateful for every single day. And 10 is a lot. And you end up just coming about saying, I'm grateful for the weather. And you've lost all that impact. It just becomes too much. So I hear you. I think that I need to go back to the feeling. And I think this is why I've said to you before about this. And we have got future sessions on manifestation, so we won't touch on it too much. But I think this is why I've always felt that I'm not a good manifester. And I think I'm realizing now, through speaking with you each week, that it comes back to, I don't give the time to go back to the feeling and really embracing that and lifting my vibration. And I think by thinking it or saying it, I'm doing it, but I'm not. I'm starting to realize that. So you are the queen of the top tips, Shelley. What would we do without you?
I went I've had a lot of compliments lately. I had a totally new experience last night. I was invited to join a Kundalini yoga class. Now, I've done yoga before. I've never done Kundalini yoga, and I am not, to be honest, I am not up on my whole, because I know there's lots of different types of yogas. And so when lovely Em of North Star Holistic, when Em invited me to go along, I was a bit like, oh, what's going on? And I always feel very self-conscious. I'm a bigger girl, and going into a space where you're moving your body and things always puts me on edge. But Em was lovely, and she was out, it'll be fine, just come. We do this with our eyes shut, so it doesn't matter anyway. And I thought, oh, excellent, great. I can flobble around and no one can see me. Wonderful. I thought this is perfect. So I went, and because Kundalini yoga, it's there is movement involved, but it is movement. There is a lot of breath work involved. It's a deeply spiritual practice that literally raises the Kundalini within you. So this is all about energy flow. I know that you should only ever try and do Kundalini yoga or work with Kundalini energy if you are working with an experienced practitioner, which Em is. She's just lovely, and knows her stuff. And you do chanting, and there's some like quite what I would class as high intensity. For me, it's high intensity movement anyway. I was sweating, but it's almost like in a bit of a meditative. You find yourself in a bit of a meditative state when you're doing these movements, and to the point where you're not really there. Oh, I loved it so much. I had like waves. I could physically see waves of energy and color coming through. I had this beautiful vision of a goddess or ascended master, Lakshmi. She was there. The beautiful big golden light came in. I mean, it knocked my flipping socks off. It really, really did. And I don't know why I'm telling you about going to Kundalini yoga. What did you ask me?
I can't even remember. Again, it's another side of the peri-menopause. I can't remember. What does Kundalini actually mean? I'm going to look it up on Google now. What's a word?
Em would probably be the better person to talk about it, but it's to do with the energy that you hold. And I think it sits dormant in your base energy center. So that's like down on your perineum. And when you do certain things to activate that energy, it rises. It's been described as like a dragon or a serpent. Again, I'm floundering a little bit because I am
it says here a coiled snake. So it's it's something in Hinduism.
Yeah, it's a Hindu
practice. A form of divine feminine energy, believed to be located at the base of the spine.
There we go. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Em up for a proper description, and maybe it's her website, and we'll share that on the Facebook group, shall we? So people get a bit more. So
And
yeah, so it was new.
sorry, maybe one of the times we'll get people in like Emma to talk
Yeah,
to us. And
about this sort of stuff.
yeah, because I'd love to learn more. So
Oh, I remember why I was talking about that now. It was because you just mentioned the fact about my top tips and stuff. And when I was there last night, she was introducing me to the rest of the group because I was new. It was funny being the new girl, and it was funny being the person being taught. Normally, I'm the teacher person. I was like, I'm on the
yeah.
other side of the fence. This is weird. I liked it though because it was. I don't get many opportunities just to go and do something for me because normally, I mean, everything I do is for me because that's sounds awful, but that is how I live my life and makes me happy. Um, everyone else benefits though, so it's fine. So Em was introducing me and she introduced me as an energy guru, and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds crazy. She was like, take the compliment.
I would say that is very true, actually, Shelley. You are an energy guru and you teach us something every single week. I'm like your little sponge, learning it all to try and test it and trial it because you live, breathe, embody all of this. So you are an energy guru, absolutely.
Thank you. Can I just also put the record straight that, I do have my moments of crying hysterically and shouting at my children and my other half and sitting, eating pizza and drinking wine. I am no angel and I am not some sort of perfect thing. I'm very, very real. Just want to put that out there too. I can
No, that's
recognize
true.
this. I can recognize this. So yeah, oh gosh, where did we even get to? Yeah.
Well, we went from vibrations to gratitude, back to vibrations because we
Yeah.
have to keep our vibrations high to even embody gratitude in the right way. On to Kundalini, the word I just absolutely love. I'm going to
Good
be
word.
banging that about. I think I need to look into see if there's Kundalini yoga down here because I think that's something I could
There
get
will be.
involved with. I
Yeah.
like the sound
It,
of that.
it was really good. She doesn't know this yet, but I'm gonna have a word with them and see about getting her to record some sessions and make a little online course so that people can buy her classes online and do it online. She
Oh,
doesn't know
happy
this
days.
yet.
Love it. The businesswoman in you all the time, you see, and then people like me can benefit being so far away. I'm not sure if we have that down here.
Oh,
I'm
you
sure we
will.
do
We
somewhere,
need
but I
to.
just don't know where.
Down
I'll have to
down
look it up.
down your neck of the woods, aren't you all hippies down there?
I think a lot of people are, yeah. Yeah. At least I'm close to Glastonbury. I know you like Glastonbury, Shelley.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You're all just mad hippies down there. Do you not just float around barefooted all the time? That's my vision of where you are.
Oh, only
Say that again, Angel. That cut out.
only in folk week. So
Only folk week. Oh,
yeah,
folk
only
week. I want a
folk
folk week.
week. Yeah.
Might launch folk week up here. Oh dear me.
Oh, wow. Love it. I love it. So keep our vibrations high, gratitude, Kundalini yoga. I mean, what more do we want out of this week?
Yeah,
Absolutely
all
brilliant.
sorts, all sorts.
I think I'm gonna name my I'm gonna name my person, that my negative like
Yeah.
vibe, and I'm gonna tell you next time what I've
Yeah.
called. I think it's a him. I think it's
Oh.
an annoying man, actually.
See, that's really telling. And that, in terms of when we look at like divine masculine, divine feminine energy, the fact that you feel that yours is more masculine. Oh, if we were having a session, I would go right on into that. That would be absolutely fascinating about how you feel about your ability to achieve and do things as opposed to being and nurturing. Very
Yeah, well,
interesting.
maybe a later session, Shelley.
Yeah.
Maybe a later session.
Well, thank you so much for listening to our magical waffle, as I call it. Next time, we are going to be talking about magic and manifestation. We're going to have a little bit of witchcraft stuff in there. We're going to look at manifestation cycle, how it all actually works. We are very much hoping that our sessions will like lead on from each other, aren't we? Like
Yeah.
they'll build as we go. So we will no doubt over the next, the entire series be coming back to keeping your vibrations high and how to do, more of what we have been talking about. So, and again, if I have a message to spread, I'll hop on about it all the time until everyone's aware of it and listens.
But we want to hear back as well. So obviously
Yeah.
you've got to do the usual like, rate, subscribe, all of that jazz, whatever the words are in the podcast world. But we also, you know, like we really want your feedback. So turn to our social pages or let us reach out. And if we are waffling too much or we're not covering something or there's something specific you'd like us to cover, you know, the good, the bad and the ugly, feed it back to us because we want you to really enjoy this as much as we are creating it. So we would love to hear what you all think.
Absolutely. But from my point of view, only if you like it.
All right, just send the bad and the ugly to me, and then I can sort of keep that aside from Shelley. But yeah, no, I'm hoping there is
No,
no bad and ugly.
no, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I always believe there's always room for improvement in absolutely everything that we do. And we should
Yeah,
always be reaching for that next best version of ourselves. And sometimes we are unaware of what we need to do in order to get there. So a little bit of help goes a long, long way. But thank you for
absolutely.
listening, my loves. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.